Step 1. Strategy. Step 1 is strategy targeting weaknesses. In this game, White made a tactical blunder. Do you see it? In this game, Black has weaknesses around the king, light square weaknesses. In this game, it is Black to move. How would Black defend against this weakness? If you were playing Black, how would you continue here? Notice the pawn skeletons. How would you play here as White? Step 2. Tactical blunders. After targeting weaknesses, the second step is exploiting tactical blunders. Exploiting tactical blunders. In this game, White made a tactical blunder. The move played was knight to d5. White's idea was that Black was going to take here with the bishop. At the same time, the knight on g4 is unprotected. So White will then follow up with queen takes, and after bishop takes bishop, then king takes, queen d5, and White can simply just, I guess, block the check. And that was the idea. That was White's idea. But after the knight moved to d5, Black saw further. Black calculated deeper. Queen takes, sacrificing the queen. So now, if bishop captures, then this is check. And after the rook blocks the check, because the king can't step over because of this bishop on b6. So rook to f3 to block the check. And now the rook is pinned. And because of the pin, knight f2 check forks both the king and the queen. And let's see, king steps, check, or if we take it back, king to g2 and knight takes. The rook is still pinned. See, rook takes, and now what do we have here? Knight there, because this exploits the pin of the bishop here. Knight there. So even if the bishop takes, then check. And then Black is going to pick up the other rook. Or bring the other rook over. Knight takes, rook takes. And then after g5, you see bishop takes, and then Black still wins in all variations. Step 3. Creating threats. f3 is creating more threats. d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, bishop b4 check, bishop d2, pawn to a5, knight c3, castle short, pawn to e3, d6, queen c2, knight on b to d7, bishop d3, and now strike in the center with e5. White castle short. Now here black needs to swing a rook over to the e file in order to strengthen and reinforce the e5 pawn. Therefore, rook to e8. Now there's a threat. The e4 square has 3 defenders. The bishop on d3, the queen on c2, and the knight on c3. And black has to remove one of them. The threat is bishop captures the knight on c3, followed by advancing the pawn from e5 to e4. Therefore, white plays pawn to e4 in order to stop the threat, stop the pawn's advancement. So therefore, e d4 and knight d4. Pawn to c6 guards the b5 square from intruders. The pawn on d6 is weak, therefore pawn to c6. Rook on a to e1. White's knight on d4 is currently undefended. Playing the bishop to c5 now would be premature. In chess, one of the most essential techniques to learn is how to hide your intentions. If we play the bishop to c5 now, that would only allow the knight to remove itself from the d4 square. Therefore, let's try and provoke white to play pawn from f2 to f4, creating a weakness on the a7 to g1 diagonal. And how do we do it? By playing the knight to e5. By playing this move, white is tempted to play f4, chasing the knight, but seeing this, plays a different move. Pawn to h3 in order to guard the g4 square. So he didn't play f4. So now, play the bishop to c5 here, threatening to capture. And now, bishop to e3. Now, instead of playing this natural move, knight b3 was a better choice. But playing the bishop to e3 now opens up another can of worms. Our knight on e5 is looking pretty. White's pawn on g2 is guarding the f3 square. But imagine if the pawn wasn't on g2, then black would have a card up his sleeve. So by a tactical theme called deflection, white is able to win material. Do you see it? The move is bishop captures pawn on h3. Now after this move, we're almost there. White's knight on d4 right now is guarding the f3 square. The knight guards the f3 square. So, the next tactical theme is called removing the defender. Bishop captures d4, and after white recaptures, now our knight on e5 hops into f3, forking the king and the bishop on d4. King g2, and the bishop falls. Thanks for watching. That's all I have for now. Please don't forget to hit that like button. Stay tuned. Visit my original channel, Chess Assassin 2813.